Now this is the facility.
Yeah, for the subdivision. That in here, that came out of yours, it's already on there?
No, it's not.
It's not, so that's another item.
Right.
So that's 3 items in your business.
Tell me what they are again, Jimmy, I'm sorry.
You have a grant for the town of Brookside, which they were late on the signing their thing, so it's in the system and going
Yeah, I
through.
refrains of the ends.
You have the
Watch these ends.
American Rescue Act, that the county managers to execute ADM Form 339 for some type of a loan program.
What is that?
Sewer grants through ADM.
Here, David was saying, but why don't we do that when we get it? All I need to do is put it on the agenda.
Yeah, but you already mentioned it earlier.
Yeah. And the other is a street maintenance acceptance at Meadow Lake Trail.
No way to it.
So those are the 3 items that we're going to add. Is there any more?
For the Meadow Lakes, it's actually 5 separate resolutions based on the phases of the subdivision.
Right?
So they're all stapled together.
Okay.
It's the same subdivision, but the phase, based on the way it was platted, is phased. It's the same thing.
Intense fixing.
Right.
There we go.
One of the last ones.
So those are the items of new business we're going to have. Everybody okay with that? Now, after we pray and get in the line, we'll make sure we get it done. So I'm trying to get this done quickly as we can.
All right, we're not gonna do these contingency funds today.
Hey, do you want that as new business?
Well, it's the pleasure of the commission.
Oh, yeah.
I'd
Do,
like to table that, please. So my office can participate.
we can do that. If you want to do that, we'll do it next time, get everyone a chance to take a look at it. And is that all right with everyone?
You're welcome.
To the,
This list, we're not
Where
doing
is it?
it. But that's, we sent it to your office.
yeah, I think probably what we'll do, it probably makes sense, is that we will circulate that list again, because I think it was done over the weekend,
It's on Friday.
Friday, and make sure that everyone has the opportunity to study it, and we'll bring it up, put it on the agenda, Commissioner, for next agenda, and we'll work through it at that time.
And what this is some of the funds that we did had a pretty good year. These are funds that are being allocated to different entities. And what this list is the ask. So that's what I want everybody to have. I've summarized it as best I can.
But I'm sure we're going to give them a revised list for us to review.
You want to add something?
Absolutely, absolutely, yes, sir, absolutely. All right, you so kind. Thank you.
And there is one other item of new business that will come out of Commissioner Tyson's job, and that will give a short presentation of what they've had going on, which would be fine. With that being said, let's go to the Lord in prayer, and then we'll start this meeting. Our most gracious Heavenly Father, we thank Thee for the ability to be here, to be able to work together, the ability to make decisions on behalf of the citizens of Jefferson County. As we sit down to do those things today, dear Lord, we ask that You give us the strength, the wisdom, the courage, and the guidance to do things for the benefit of the citizens and for glory to You. Dear Lord, we pray for all of the people who are sick and infirm, and those who have been affected by violence in our county and in our state and in our country. Dear Lord, touch each of these with a healing heart so we can work better together. Dear Lord, keep us, guide us, and protect us. I ask these things in Jesus' name. Amen. Commissioners, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, items of new business.
Move
And-
for consideration of consider the new business.
Motion been made, seconded. All in favor say aye. If there's any opposed, that will stop. Any opposition? There is no opposition. The items of new business have been approved. Let's begin with, just go through the district. District 1.
Thank you, Mr. President. On behalf of the Public Works, Community Services, and Intergovernmental Relations Committee, we have no items for Board of Equalization. 2 items under Environmental Services. The first is the REV Contract of Construction, Inc., excuse me. This is the Stadium Street Pump Station contract. And we have the Alabama Power, and this is work to be done at Cahaba River. And it looks like, I guess this must be a right-of-way kind of issue. So do we have David?
I'm over
David?
here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, item number 2 is actually just, it's for, it has to do with electrical service, not right away. So,
Okay.
But yeah.
Thank you for correcting. Anyone have any questions?
Well, I want to thank them for the odor control.
The pilot's been very successful, so we're moving on to permanent fix.
And that's a great, because I was at 12 Drive, which is over the mountain. It's on the way to the basin, from the basin to the sewer plant. And they have the same problem that they have in Stadium Road. And it just gets down the line, and they were asking me, I said, we've got help on the way, and it should get much, much better. Thank you. I move.
Has been moved and properly seconded. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
No items under General Retirement Systems. Human Resources, we have 1 contract amendment, and this is for mental health, substance abuse, basically our programs related to employees. And so the ask is $700,000. And Human Resources, would you like to speak to that? Anyone have any questions as relates to this item?
Yes. You know how many of our employees receive services from them on the average each year or each month?
They gave us a summary for last year, and it was 234 employees who utilized DHS.
That's pretty much average.
They only gave me last year.
Any other questions? Seeing none, I want to entertain a motion at this time.
So moved.
Been moved and properly seconded. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
No items under Compliance, Personnel Board, and District 1 other business. Thank you, Mr. President.
You, ma'am. Mr. Joyce.
Good morning, Commission.
Good morning.
Yeah, we were, Community Development and Health Services Committee. I will skip all the way down to the Department of Services, Dr. Hamilton.
Good morning, Commissioners. We just have 1 item this morning between the Jefferson County Commission and Centel Engineering for the design work related to park improvements for the Jefferson County Housing Authority, $25,800, which will be paid for by our city funds.
So moved.
Second.
It's been first and second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Skip down to Family Court, James Fields.
Hi, Cindy Hunter is here, the Deputy Court Administrator.
You can go ahead.
We have on the agenda the Children's Policy Council Cooperative with Jefferson County contract, which supports the Children's Policy Council here to assist in development and promotion of county resources at Family Court.
So moved.
Second.
And first and second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, did you go over two? The salary adjustment?
No, ma'am,
No,
I
didn't
didn't.
do that.
Okay, so go ahead, proceed.
That resolution is for an 8% salary increase for this year for the Deputy Court Administrator and Court Administrator here at Family Court.
And it is in her budget. Get a motion on that.
Will that be in addition to the COLA?
Yes, Commissioner.
Yes, in addition to the COLA, and
Oh,
it
it's
is in
11.
the budget as well.
So it's 11.5%, right?
That's what it's about.
Well, you know.
Can I get a motion?
Bring them in at the last minute to buff them, and then you get 2 bumps. So I'm just saying.
Can I get a motion?
Hold item.
You know, I'm having a little bit of problem with 11.5% raise, when everyone else is kind of 3.5.
It's within her budget, she's not asking us for any more money, and it's bringing them up to the pay scale for their position,
HR,
because they all being underpaid.
you y'all done any,
These are
research or
appointments.
checking into this? Or,
These are judicial appointments.
and it's within the budget?
It's within her
Yeah,
budget.
it was approved in the budget, Commissioners. but
Yes,
it's
it
our-
is within her
okay.
budget.
They're judicial appointments.
I know, I
And it's
understand,
within-
but are they our employees?
Yes, it was general fund monies.
It's general fund dollars. Okay.
It's been first, and I guess second.
Still having trouble with 11.5%?
So let me ask this question. I'm sorry.
I just, it's funded to him, to me also. I'm
Okay.
having trouble.
Okay, I hear.
I mean,
Let me ask this question, since it is a judicial, so do you mind, County Attorney, we may be asking the same question, so it'd be beneficial to the whole, I believe, since this is a judicial appointment. We understand what our authority lies as relates to us approving the funds, but because this is a judicial appointment and it's not a commission appointment, would that interfere at all, especially if we were to not approve this item as it is presented? In other words, 8%
What I
is
can
all.
say, what I can say to you is that these are 2 appointments that are made by the presiding judge at family court. So they're not appointments that are made by commission or the county manager or the county attorney, but they're funded by the county commission.
So-
They are.
So all things being equal, we, the 8%, have already approved that, because when we passed the budget, that family court line item was already approved. So that means that the 8% that we're talking about in question of the 11% was already approved by us.
No, 3%.
Okay.
3.5.
Well, hold on, Joe. So is that, am I right?
If it was budgeted in their budget, if it's in their budget, it's in their budget.
So get what I'm saying. If the commissioner is saying that this 8% was already in the budget, that means that we already approved initially the 8% anyway.
Yes.
The presumptive.
Okay.
If you
Yes,
approve
which preliminarily-
their budget,
Huh?
then that's in their budget.
Okay, you get it now. So then that means preliminarily, we also agreed to this 3.5% raise.
I'm just saying it's.
I get it, but do you understand what I'm saying?
But it's
This-
already-
This is starting to happen more and more.
But it's already been approved. She's not going out of her budget for this fund.
I'm just saying, technically, you
We
know,
have
you're looking
already-
at 11.5, you've already done, but nevertheless, I digress.
I guess, let me ask my question another way. At what point would you have resistance in approving it or qualifying it? Would it be 15%, 18%? When would I get pushed back from management on this? At what point?
There would not be an issue with management in these positions because this is based on the authority of state law that says that the judge makes the appointment and sets the salary. So obviously, whatever purview the commission would have in not approving that is outside of budget or something like that. And I assume if it's budgeted, these are appointments that are made by the judge and not made by anybody else.
So we really don't have any say.
As long as it's budgeted,
Within her budget.
these are, the law says that she sets those positions and those salaries
why are we approving?
because it's general fund dollars.
You don't.
It is our money.
Internal inconsistency, what you just said.
probably see some inconsistencies in the way the law is written, but that's the way it's written.
I move table this one.
Second.
Let me ask this question, Mr. President. Since you got a move in a second, just a question as it relates to, since we're tabling this item, we're tabling into time certain, which is what?
No, I can withdraw my motion if you give me a better clarification than that. You know, first of all, why is it on our budget? And you say it's general fund dollars.
It is.
And then you say we have no say-so about over it, so I'm having difficulty following the reasoning.
Well, Commissioner, in the grand scheme of things, the way the law is written, I probably have some issues there as well. But this is one of those situations where the commission is required to fund those amounts, and the salary is set by the judge. And so I imagine that would be an issue that you would deal with. It's your budget situation, but it's a statutory appointment based in law.
Well, if it's set by the judge, then why are we entertaining it? What if the judge, and I know not who the judge is out there, added an extra 100,000 to this and put it on the agenda? We prove that too if it was in the budget?
I think that would be something that you would have to settle with you and the judge, but it doesn't have a cap or otherwise. It said the salary set by the judge.
Well, how do we do that? Sell something to the judge, let's say a majority of the commission, outside of litigation?
I think that if it was something, it's a question that you would have with the judge relative to the amount. I mean, I assume that there are HR issues where they can look at what's appropriate in those along those lines, but that's what the law says.
I understand, and I disagree with what you're saying. It's the machinery. Let's say the judge, he or she, gave a $100,000 raise, and somehow it got approved in the budget. Then pay it. You know, if that's what the judge wants to do. Why does it come back to this regulatory body from the executive branch to question this judge in the judicial branch about something that he or she has already done and it's in the budget?
And again, I guess I would say that I can only recite to you what the statute says. I assume that obviously since you control the general fund dollars, you could refuse to do it. And again, I guess we would see what happens from there. But as it stands, the salary is set by the judge.
So the way to do it is just wait till the end of September, get your budget approved, and in the last meeting in the calendar year, you just throw in what you want to. It's already been approved. It's approved in the budget. It just seems like a silly way to handle government, and I would like to quote on the statute section. Thanks.
Well, Judge, the reason why I was mentioning a commission in this sense, right, because when we had our budget hearings, you know, family court was one of those departments that we had to approve their budget. If this commission so desires that you are uncomfortable with that, even though these statutory appointments, then moving forward, we need to have certain policies, which is within our authority, in order to be able to address some of the concerns that we have today. Then in the meantime, we have already passed the budget. The reason why it's brought before us is because it must be voted out of the budget, meaning that we approved it, but you still got to have the votes to make it active. And so the money, even though we're looking at it being 11.5%, that's already been approved before today. And today is just, you're seeing the item on the agenda so that we can go ahead and make it official that that appropriation has been brought before this commission properly, and therefore it is to be executed at this point. But that's for every item that we have passed the budget for.
So basically, we're just acknowledging this.
Correct.
That's
Right.
it.
So why don't we?
It's not an acknowledgement.
Well,
I mean, if we have to delve into this into a deep dive, obviously, you can't pay anybody any money that is outside the parameters of your budget. So, to your point, if there was a request for $100,000, if that was outside your budget, then you could obviously deny that because that's outside the budget. If we were in a situation where we had a bankruptcy issue or something where that was unreasonable, we've had situations where we had to challenge expenditures based on those circumstances. But in this situation, I guess if you look at where the parameters would lie, is that if it's outside the budget, that would be something certainly that you could question. If it's something that is going to put a strain on the county, you could obviously look at it in that manner. But there's no specific parameter in terms of a range of salary other than that which the court. So it's not an acknowledgement.
All right, this is what I'd like to do. I would like to vote no on the motion to table and second on the motion to move on. But I don't like this double whammy right at the end of a budget time to where because that's not fair to every other employee up here.
Commissioners, it was noted in the budget, 8% raise for that line item.
It was.
So an 8% raise.
Well, you got a first and a second.
You got a motion and a second on the table. So
I withdraw my motion.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr.
And I'll
President.
second the motion.
All right.
Okay, it's been first and second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we have,
Any opposed?
any opposed?
Opposed.
Okay, we have one opposed,
No, 2 opposed.
two opposed. All right, we will go down to, Birmingham Business Alliance, Senator, can I get a motion on the floor to approve this item?
You said Birmingham Business Alliance.
We know Vernon
Resource.
Business Resource.
I'm sorry.
Birmingham Business Resource
Resource.
Center.
I have a first, second. Okay, first and second, all,
Discussion.
okay, discussion.
I would move to table this to put it in with these other items that we're going to consider next week.
No,
Because this is new. This sets a precedent that any commissioner now just throw something out there and have a vote on it instead of putting it under your community development funds or other business. That I'm not opposed to Mr. Business Resource Center. I'm just saying, I think it ought to be done with the others as we consider it. Otherwise, you're going to burn 26% of the budget that we have for all of these. So
well, this, number one, this is not new. It's been on here for 5 years.
it's new in this format.
It's been on this agenda for 5 years.
Not in this format.
On this agenda, the contract been ready for 3 years.
I understand that. I understand.
All right, I understand what we have, and it would probably be appropriate to include that
I think
in this, but,
I would like to, a motion. It's been a first and a second.
all right.
All in favor to move this to the agenda for Thursday? Say aye.
Wait a minute, hold on. Let me speak to the motion, please.
Which motion? Did he have a motion too?
No, he didn't.
No, he did not.
He made a statement.
He just made a statement.
Let me ask this question. Hold on. Let me ask this question, Mr. President. So, are we saying that if we proceed forward with this item today, your comfort level in terms of where we are, you more comfortable in it going there? Is that what I'm hearing?
I'm comfortable in either place. It would be more appropriate for it to be there.
Okay.
And I have researched it, looked at it, and I'm comfortable with it, comfortable with the work that he's done.
Correct.
I would like to add deliverables and approve 1 year at a time and just move forward, and that goes with all of these. It would be coming from that, and that would be fine. So
then let me ask you.
either.
So you good with either way?
I'm good with either way, but it's probably more
Stay right
appropriate.
here.
So then, that being said, Mr. President, let me ask this question. Since we have it on public record, and we recognize that the funds to be expended is coming out of this $1.9 million meaning that we understand that in this meeting, okay, then we're proceeding in like manner. My other question, really for you, County Attorney, is if my memory serves me correctly, when this contract came up a couple of months ago, wasn't this already a contract that was a performance agreement based upon deliverables to be provided?
Honestly, I don't recall.
I have a good recollection, and that's what I recall. Okay, so you know who worked on
We
this
could-
contract?
We can look at it, but yeah.
Okay, because, Mr. President, that was addressed during that meeting. Matter of fact, the reason why I know that, because I had a sidebar discussion about those other economic development arms, and that they governing themselves accordingly also. And so that's the reason why I said that. If it is not there, which I doubt very seriously, then you saying it is?
It is. It's attached to his paperwork. The whole contract is, and remember we pulled it off.
No, I understand that a couple of months ago.
So this has been delayed 5 years, and I don't think it's right to delay it another day. We need to put this on the board and vote for this for Thursday.
Right, but I'm saying, but you are saying that you want to see in that contract, which is fair, and we would have the same sentiments with all these other economic development arms, your DDAs and your Rail Birmingham and whoever else that comes here. Then what I'm saying is, if it's not there, that you see to it, the county attorney, that language is within the contract, so that on Thursday it's presented in a way that all commissioners feel comfortable with.
It's a year to year in the contract.
Yeah, and has our economic development arm looked at all of this?
Yes, he has.
Yeah, I'm running
How about,
It's in there.
yeah, just address the commission and where we are and what's going on with it, because this is something we need to take care of.
Now, the ask is 1.5 million over 3 years.
Yeah.
Is what I remember last time.
Okay.
But now we're down to 500,000
A year.
for this year.
Yes.
We'll be back next year.
Right.
And the year after.
Right.
And the year after.
Just like the other economic development arms, you can't start something and be so fantastic at it and then don't continue on to
Just like the other ones then.
Go ahead, Jeff.
So a couple months ago, I took a look at the Birmingham Business Resource Center, what it is that they do, and what kind of gaps they may fill within the community. Fairly simple analysis. Birmingham Business Resource Center has a long track record of helping small and minority businesses within the community. They operate a loan fund that's been fairly successful as well. And they meet a gap, and that's providing some very early stage guidance to businesses that are looking at getting started up and running and successful. And of course, the reason that that's important is most businesses fail, especially in the first few years of their life cycle. So I had a recommendation that Birmingham Business Resource Center meets the desires of what we want to achieve with economic development. They meet those goals. I did suggest that we have, if there's an agreement, that there be some very firm metrics that are put in place so that we can measure, so that we can lay out what our expectations are. If the organization gets the money, what do we expect in return in terms of, if you get this money, does this increase your customer base 25%, 30%, those sorts of things? Make sure that they report back fairly frequently so that we can just track that through the year and make sure that they're hitting their targets. I did not make a recommendation on amount, but my recommendations were mostly based in terms of reporting and tracking.
So Jeff, let me say this. You said you wanted to make sure there's a firm, what was that other portion of the statement you said about firm what?
Firm understanding of what our expectations are. So,
Okay.
the county's going to give any organization
Sure.
funds. What are we expecting for those funds? And setting up a good firm reporting mechanism so that throughout the year, if we think it's off track, we can work to try to make adjustments. We can keep tabs on, if they say an organization has
president says if we're going to help 250 businesses this year with this fund, are they on track to hit that by the end of the year? If not, why not? Do we need to shift, make adjustments to the expectations? But that was my recommendation.
So, as a commissioner, here's my recommendation, if the body will agree to this. I believe personally that this is your committee. All economic development arms should report to this body either quarterly or biannually, but all of them need to do it at the same time. I don't think that us moving forward with unprecedented firmness with some entities that we don't do with all, I think we need to scrap that. And what needs to happen is that all economic development arms need to come in, which we haven't had since I've been here. They all need to be reporting not only in writing, they need to stand at that podium and they need to tell us exactly what improvements they've made, what investment dollars they've done on behalf of the county, and how they plan to expand their programming moving forward if they do have the intent for the county to continue on to support them financially. I think that's a reasonable ask, Commissioner. That's under your committee. So that goes for Birmingham Business Resource and any other economic development arm. They need to report to us, and we need to have some type of definitive way of how we do what we do, so that they know, everyone will know, when they get $1 from the county, we want to see results.
Well, is this the way to do it?
I believe, as I
The first time I saw it was on the agenda, not when it came to me because of economic development.
No, I understand, sir, but I do want to say this, though, Commissioner. Respectfully, the Commissioner before you entertained this item for a number of years, okay? And it didn't go anywhere, right? So what I am saying is that my suggestion to us all, if we will oblige, is that I believe that all of them, I agree, Birmingham Business Resource, along with the others, need to be giving us a quarterly report, whatever that is. All of them need to come here at the same time, and they need to be able to provide to us, what are you doing for the dollars that we're investing?
And if you look at his backup work, all of that is in this contract.
Mm-hmm.
Now the other ones, it might, it wasn't, ain't no might, it wasn't in, but in this contract, it's in there.
So you understand, but do you understand what I'm saying,
I
Commissioner?
understand exactly what you're saying. I'm not agreeing with everything that you said, but I understand what you said. I respect it. But
I'd like
you
to
want
point out-
things to come through economic development. Whoever's got it. This didn't. This came
No, I'm saying
outside.
I agree.
Okay.
I agree
So
with you.
I go back to what Commissioner Knight said. Why isn't this discussed with us, those others over there? If there's a finite fund, I don't know if there's a finite fund, but I'm guessing that there is. And that document you've got right over there. And we're unilaterally taking out 25% of it today ahead of others. Those may be worthless, they may be very good, but I like to weigh them all the same, just as Commissioner President Timmy Stevens said. And that's got nothing to do with what you said. That's probably a good practice when we're giving out taxpayer money.
Well, I had to be honest with you.
This isn't coming out of economic development for number one. Why? Because it's coming, y'all the one made the rule.
What I was about to say, you understand.
You set it up.
We talked about.
Don't you know?
But we talked
You the
about
one
these.
set it up.
But we
This
talked
item-
about these. Hold on.
One at a time.
I was saying that, but the contingency funds, for the purpose of the body, was mentioned to come out of those funds. I totally agree. It should come out of the $10 million
I agree,
funded
too.
economic development fund, but that's not happening.
They set up a
And
whole
so-
nother little pile of money.
and so
for it to come out of
because
it.
it's coming
Just for
out.
this?
For all the rest of them too that they got.
Not just now.
So I understand, but in this setting, I think it'd be most appropriate if we discussed it outside of this setting, but for public consumption. I'm saying that this item was recommended to come out of this contingency fund. Even though I agree, it should come out of economic development fund. It's just not at this time.
Okay, I've got my vote on
Yes, sir?
If anybody needs to see it, I've pulled the previous document with the scope of work that was in the previous document, so I have that if anybody wants to.
Is the clause that the president is comfortable with, is that included in the contract?
I'm not certain what we want specific.
Well, no, what he asked for specific.
What I said is that I've done my research, I've looked, I know what he's done, I know his deliverables, I've checked with the community, I've checked with the economic development, and I'm good with mine. I just think it's more appropriate to put that with everything else as we go through instead of keeping it separate. So, I'm firm in my.
I think even though it's presented separately, Commissioner, all of us understand this will be deducted from this $1.9 million. As long as everybody is of that understanding, then we can proceed forward. And I think that's what your concern is just making sure that we all have a clear understanding. Here's the allocated amount, and $500,000 of this $1.9 million today will make it in 1.4.
And I totally agree, what you said about the metrics, and people need to come in here and tell us what they're doing with the tax money. My issue is, does this set a precedent that when somebody wants to do something for a business or an entity, that they can just put it on the agenda under their district and bring it to the commission at any time? That's as opposed to doing it.
Ammons did it every meeting, and nothing was said.
So then it sounds like.
That's okay.
Do we need to Mr. Chairman, do you think that moving forward that we have a policy that we need to have moving forward during budgeting time that talks about how we're going to allocate those contingency funds?
This is reserved for basically our community development funds and infrastructure funds that we have. That's what this is. This is not about this throwing any item out there under your
This is not no any item. We done seen this item for 5 years. Ammons sit up here for 5 years and spent the money like a drunken sailor.
And
no reports.
That's fine. So.
Okay, seems like you got to move in a second.
Okay, I have a first and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
And any opposed? 2 opposed, and read it pass. Go to the agenda.
I'm not opposing Mr. Bob. I'm opposing for the principal.
And you opposing him too. 2 opposed
And why it was done. I'm comfortable with the entity and what it's doing. I would have felt more comfortable had it been done through this.
Right.
But I'm tired of dealing with it.
I am too. So it goes to the agenda for Thursday. Cahaba Medical Care. Could you please come up and do your presentation?
Oh, sorry y'all had to see all that.
It's okay.
Good morning. Thanks for the opportunity to present. I'm John Waits. I'm a family physician and CEO and co-founder of Cahaba Medical Care. I just wanted to give a brief report in your packet, or 2 infographics that we typically use to kind of report back on the work that our nonprofit community health center, Cahaba Medical Care, has been doing. We are a 501c3 nonprofit community health center. We've been around for about 20 years. We've been in Jefferson County for 8 years. We started in Jefferson County 8 years ago in Bessemer, and then about 6 years ago we came to the West End community. Since that time, we've opened several other clinics in Inslee and in Fairfield. We've helped keep a dental clinic from closing over in the Legion Field area, and have worked in several city and county school-based health clinics. I appreciate the partnership with the Jefferson County Commission. When we were invited to West End, you guys helped us get into that building for a few years until we were able to get that project off the ground. And then we eventually bought the building from you. Just to remind you a little bit of the history of our partnership together. Through that partnership, over this last almost a decade of partnership together, Cahaba Medical Care has become the state's 2nd largest nonprofit community health center. We've brought 254 jobs to Jefferson County, primarily the west side of the county, and have been able to leverage $3 million per year of federal funds, bringing them to Birmingham, competing for federal grants that are available, bringing them to Alabama. This size is not just important in and of itself. It's mainly important for our communities and their access to health. If you look on your form, you'll see a graph that looks like these green bars. The zip codes that we serve in, but before we arrived, this is federal data showing that between 2 and 6% of the low-income population in those zip codes had affordable access to primary care, meaning over 90% of that population would use the emergency room for their general primary care, diabetes, hypertension. If you look at each of those graphs, whether it's West End, Inslee, Bessemer, Fairfield, we've had, over the subsequent 5 to 8 years, depending on the community, a 4-fold increase in the percentage of low-income population that have had affordable access to primary health care, medicine, dental, and integrated mental health. We have about 38 social workers and counselors embedded into our healthcare clinics to not only provide counseling, provide service for social determinants of health and those struggles, but to decrease the stigma of getting those services so that they feel like the patients feel like they're going to a family doctor's office and get that care. Finally, yesterday, we just opened another clinic in the Woodland Park, Titusville area. And we've been working with the city of Birmingham and the greater YMCA in a piece of property that's right on the border of Fairfield and District 8 to look at opening a clinic in that area in the years to come. I want to thank you guys for your partnership. I don't have an ask for money at this time at all. I just wanted to give you a report of our partnership together. I realize that it's been a few years since I've come and talked about some of the work that we're doing. So kind of happy, useful, and thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
You said you had 254 employees?
254 employees in Jefferson County. We have about 600 employees around. We're in 4 rural counties to the south, and we've got a clinic in Shelby County as well.
Thank you very much.
Aren't y'all opening, is it the old YWCA on the Dustin Cooper Highway?
That's right.
That's the one y'all opening down?
That's right. It's going to take us a little bit to renovate that building, but we've been in the process of getting that building from the Y. And
Mention the partnership with the health department.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
Yes. We've worked very closely with the health department and with Cooper Green and with UAB. We have a number of public-private partnerships that we've done throughout COVID. We've tried to be a good partner for the health department. They mobilized us to a variety of places for testing during 2020 and for mass vaccination when we did that in the early 2021, and really appreciated Mark Wilson, David Hicks, and their leadership, and a number of other folks that.
Well, we appreciate you, and I said that when they came to us, I was actually on the city council years ago, and they was like fresh out of nowhere. And I asked them, I was just testing him, I said, well, what about y'all moving in the neighborhood? You think you can do that? We found all of them a house. They moved into our community. A couple of them stay around the corner from me, a couple of the doctors. I do have a relationship with them as a community, and that is very rare that you get doctors that actually move into that type of community. And I appreciate you and the people that come to your clinic. We have good reports with them and the relationship that we have with Cooper Green. I am very grateful and thank you.
About how many patients y'all see a week?
I don't know a week. We have, let me break it down. We have 40,000, around the organization, 40,000 unique patients. And so each clinic, we kind of see patients in 15-minute increments. But we saw 180,000 encounters in 2022.
Wow.
They do a great job.
Do you have trouble with getting them to come back once they come see you initially for their follow-up? Because that's been a problem over the years, not with y'all, but just kind of in general health care.
That's right. Yeah, it's difficult to get anybody in any socioeconomic category interested in coming back to the doctor, right? Who wants to go to the doctor's appointment? But we've got really good follow-up rates and try to make all of our patients feel very comfortable coming to the doctor for preventive care, for managing their chronic diseases, and overall their health life. Thank you all. Thanks for the time. Appreciate it.
Administrative and Infrastructure Committee. We have roads and trans, we've got 12 items coming in. We have Mac Shan, you want to do this, Chris? Come on.
Okay. Lake Shore is one.
There's 12 items, but a lot of them are very similar. Items 1 through 4 are right-of-way items for Macashan Drive project to widen that, to condemn some tracks, and also to start the purchase process on others. Items 5, 6, and 7, very similar to the Lakeshore project, to purchase right-of-way for that project extension. Items 8 and 9 are right-of-way for environmental services for a pump station. Item 10 is to purchase a track on Caldwell Mill Road for that project. 11 is Grantsville Road is a triangular track to complete the detention pond for that project. Item 12 is to declare the Salvation Army building a surplus so we can sell it.
I move 1 through 12.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Thank you very
Chris,
much.
do you have a timeline on what or Cal about the Salvation Army building? Do we need to do anything to it, or we're going to just sell it as is?
As is, yes, sir. We've had appraisals. We had updated appraisal in April.
So let me ask you a question. How much we selling it for?
Wait a minute.
We don't know.
We don't know. We have an appraisal. The appraisal is greater than what we bought it for. I can go over the details, or I can just provide those to you. I'm not sure if you want to.
Because I know when we bought it, they said we could make a bunch of money off of it. Am I right or wrong? That's what economic development said. So I definitely want to know how much we're going to sell it for.
Okay. We will profit off of it. The appraisal is showing we will profit off of it, yes. I don't want to say how much, but I will show you those two before and after.
So when would it go up for sale? When would it go up for sale?
We're going through the process now, so as soon as we declare surplus, we then can hire the real estate agent and go through the process of selling it.
Y'all gonna put up a sale sign out there, or just gonna put it online, or what?
No, we're not sure.
No, because that's my district.
You looking to buy it?
If it wasn't against the law, I probably could buy it if it was $5.
It's going to be.
Just more education in them before, when y'all do go to eminent domain for a condemnation, did you condemn and fee the dirt, or do you just condemn a right of way?
It is all encompassing of that portion of whatever it is we are condemning for the project. To our right-of-way line, whatever we determine we need for that project.
Okay.
And that's the dirt, anything.
Yes, that's correct. So once we take over, wherever that line's drawn, that is now county maintenance right-of-way. So anything within that section. And typically, if there is infrastructure in that, we're aware of that as part of the appraisal, as part of the condemnation, and the damage is paid.
But that whole little part is it part of some? It's a little juke joint by the area, isn't it?
What's that?
But we don't know that.
We don't own the juke joint.
But they may, give themselves all this money to get a
Oh, okay.
As we move on, County Attorney, you have 4 claims and 2 additional items. 4 claims pretty much speak for themselves. Do I get a motion for those?
Yeah.
All in favor, say aye. Bill, is there anything you want to say about the 5 and 6?
We have 2 things. So the USI Insurance Services, our coverage that we mentioned in the budget hearing before, it's our standard 500 million coverage. We were able to do that slightly under what we actually budgeted for that. So this is your standard coverage for property and cyber. We still are looking at potentially doing maybe something else with cyber that comes to there with, I mentioned to you before, that's kind of costly, but we've got pretty much the same coverages otherwise at the same, we're a little bit under budget. With O'Brien is just their ongoing support for ARPA. And the other thing that we did not mention when you all were doing new business is inadvertently the minutes were not added to the agenda through a glitch. So we would ask for you to consider one item of new business to add the minutes to our agenda.
Can I ask a question?
All right,
Six.
all right, we have 5 and 6. Do we have a motion?
I have a question.
I
Six.
have a question.
We did 1 through 4, yeah.
Yeah, one before.
5 and 6.
6.
Six. We did one before.
All right, so do we have a motion you have for 5? Oh, well, we can do that.
I'll move 5 and 6.
All right, we have a motion to move 5 and 6. Second, now we'll get to discussion. Mr. Bowler.
She was first.
All right.
Such a gentleman. How long will we be in a contract with O'Brien?
It's through the end of September 2026 is when we wind up having to make sure that all the money's been encumbered and dealt with.
So if they use up all the money before then, we got to give them some more.
If they use up,
Because it looks like they on the agenda an awful lot before they contract. Like if we have a year contract with them, it looks like the money run out before the year run out.
So we amend it based on the estimated amount of cost that they have for administrating the contract, and if it goes over that, then we amend it. So these are for the administrative services. So that contract would end at the ending of the spending and encumbrance of ARPA money. So they would not have any business with us after that, because it would allow the money that have been encumbered prior to that time. So there wouldn't be any other administration of those dollars after that.
Can I get a total on, you can do it later on, how much you have paid them all together?
Sure.
As a percentage of the money distributed, it's not going to be a whole lot. So.
Yeah, I think I can pull that. I can figure that together.
As you move forward. Sure. All right. Any other questions for Mr. Bowles?
This is council that we were talking about. I'm not sure with O'Brien. It sounds familiar.
With O'Brien are the folks
Legal
that we've had to administrate. They're legal, and they're also accounting to make sure that we are accountable for the funds that we expend. And they provide memos for all of the expenditures, so that when the day of reckoning comes, when there are audits for these funds, that we have professional advice and folks that provide memos and coverage for those expenditures.
What's the law firm involved?
No, it's their professional services. Yeah, they're out of these sections.
And then basically what it is we hire them, if we got a request for some ARPA funds, they're we run it through them, they're connected to DC, they understand what the parameters are, they advise us on the application for the funds. And if they don't approve it, we don't.
They're pretty clear.
These
So
are
in the end,
experts.
we're acting on council advice, which is really well.
They're our expert.
Okay.
Because if something is, if we send some money, say, to Trustful, and Trustful spends it, Trustful's not responsible, we are. So they're the gatekeeper for us.
They write.
They're hired as our expert.
They write an eligibility memo.
What they do, they pre-clear our expenditures, and if we go against what they say, we're on our own.
I was just looking for complete defense. It looks like they have it.
I'll talk about it to you later. After the meeting, I'll tell you.
That means every now and then she don't get one approved, okay? That's the bottom line. So, all right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Thank you very much. County Manager.
One item of new business also.
I'm going to do it with him. He's got all items that have been pre-cleared. Commissioner, we have one additional item of new business, which is the approval of the minutes.
Move to consider item new business.
Second.
All in favor say aye. Any opposed? There is none. So we have an additional item of new business. County manager. You want to do this? Let me do it.
Go ahead.
We have Rock Solid
They're just changing names from Rock Solid Granicus
to One View. Amendment to change from Rock Solid Granicus, from Rock Solid to Granicus to reflect the recent purchase of Rock Solid by Granicus. We have ARPA, Outdoor Recreation, Jefferson County Greenway Commission, that is again ARPA funding for Red Mountain Park, Ruffner Museum, and Turkey Creek Preserve. We have ARPA for Clean Water, Warrior River Water Authority for $250,000 to replace broken fire hydrants and add flush valves to them.
I move 1, 2, 3.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
I don't know what Rock Solid is, but I do.
All right, we have a new item, have a community grant for the side of town of Brookside. We have approval of the minutes. We have 5 resolutions for supplemental street maintenance for the Meadow Lake Trail community. Meadow Lake community.
What community is that?
Meadow Lake.
Middle Lake subdivision.
That is, I believe it's Commissioner Tyson's district.
Is that one of those?
It's the one that when it floods, they can't get in and out of the street.
I think it's the last, one of the last
One that we took over.
And I want to thank Brent and Theo for helping. We've had a hard time with the developer to get to this point, and Chris has done an outstanding job trying to work through. And I know the citizens are sick and tired of calling us, but hopefully we're about to cross the line on this one. And then we have one commissioner from ESD that allows us to go after some more ADM money for sewer projects. All right.
Yeah, we've already done that. And then you have item form 339 for CWS.
That's it.
All right, that's the last one that we had. Those are the items in new business.
Second.
Have a motion second, all in favor say aye. Nothing from the PIO. I have 4 items for new business. Or 4 items for planning. I got the Commission County meeting dates for 2024. I hope everyone had a chance to look at that. Time is going by quickly. We got a community grant for Oak Grove Memorial Park and Recreation. We have a community grant for the town of West Jefferson. And we got a salary adjustment for District 3.
Do you have an amount on the community grant for Oak Grove Memorial?
I believe it's for new lights. Heather, what was that grant? 48,000? 46,000. 46,000. That's the Oak Grove Memorial Park. It was taken back by the
Coal mines,
mining underneath, and it's for portable lights so the kids can move location, use the practice field. So those are the items. Do we have a motion? We have a motion. And a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. All right, thank you very much. Commissioner Wright.
All right, finance, we have Ms. Dixon.
Good morning, Commissioners. We have our normal encumbrance purchasing agenda, purchasing exception report, items 1 through 3. We also have our procurement card statement for Jefferson Credit Union and our unusual demand report.
Have a motion on 1 through 5.
So moved.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The budget management and individual staff development, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion and second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Board of Registrars, Mr. Barry Stevenson is changing precinct 2090 to 6th Avenue Baptist Church. Do I have a motion? So moved. All in favor, please say aye. I have 4 items of community grants and infrastructure.
So moved.
Have a motion and a second, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
That concludes my report, I did have something to talk about in each
Mr. Bowles.
Yes, sir. That's it. First up, under economic development, we got the agreement, J Industrial Repair, and I believe we have somebody here to speak, Jeff, and somebody from J also. Thank you for coming.
Hey again, everyone. Today, we have an application to consider for a tax abatement from J Industrial Repair. Local company. It's got a couple of locations here in the area, but this is an expansion that they're looking at for their facility located off of Ruby Carson Boulevard in District 1. The project itself has a capital investment of just over $2.5 million. It would include a building addition plus additional equipment that would be purchased. The building addition would be just under 15,000 square feet to allow for additional capacity for the company. We've run the cost-benefit analysis on this, and even with an abatement in place where for a period of time, we're looking at a ROI over 10 years off the project to the general fund of $100,198, and that does not include the educational revenue, which would be about $152,000 over that same period. The request is for a sales and use tax abatement on the non-educational portion of sales and use taxes and the non-educational portion of property taxes for a period of 5 years. Today we've got a couple of people here representing the company. I've got Christina Wilson, CFO for J Industrial Repair, and David Umberg with Maynard Nexum representing them as attorney. At this point, I'll turn it over to Christina to talk a little bit about the company.
All right, put her on the hot seat.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Christina Wilson, and we have been in business for 39 years, since 1984, and we've been in Jefferson County since 1988. We are a motor repair and service facility as well as manufacturing component parts for motors. We basically service motors that are the size of my hand in robots, let's say at a Mercedes plant, and then we service motors that could be half the size of this room. So it's really exciting work, and our precision coil and rotor, that is the division that is expanding and has seen incredible growth over the past few years. In fact, last year we were at almost a 47%. So we knew that we needed to expand and have more space so that we could make sure that safety, quality, and reliability to our customers was at the forefront. So this is really going to help us do that. And I do want to say thank you for allowing us to come before you and just talk a little bit about the company. We have about 224 employees. 143 of those are in Jefferson County. And we are ISO certified 9001. And again, this is going to represent at least 8 additional jobs, and that'll be about $450,000 adding back to the county in terms of also, that doesn't include benefits and training and all of that. So we really have been invested in the county for many decades, and we want to continue to invest for many decades to go. So we're really excited about this project and excited to continue to grow in this great county, and I'm happy to work for someone who really does keep the economy going for motor repair. It's sometimes an often overlooked component to industry, but you need motors to make a lot of products. Anyway, thank you all so much.
I have a question.
Go ahead. I do too.
As we abate our general sales tax, understand that the majority of that is dedicated to indigent health care and the health department. We only get probably a third of our sales tax. Are we abating that portion that we give the income to the indigent care and the health department, or are we just abating our portion of that? Because I don't mind doing that for for what we have, because it's a good company and I understand it. But for that money that's already dedicated, earmarked by the legislature to those particular things, that is our general sales tax dollar. And we don't get but what, answer 37% of that?
37.
Yeah.
Well, we abate.
About 37%.
Yeah.
But we abate the whole 1 cent.
But we abate the entire 1 cent.
Yeah, this would fall in line with what the commission's done previously in terms of abating 1 cent out of the 2 cents.
Y'all good with it, huh?
The estimate on the sales tax is, at most, would be 40,000 on the sales tax side of the abatement. Most would be on the property tax. And I say the most because some of the long lead items that were out there, so it's primarily property tax for the value. I understand what you're saying.
That gets stuff.
So the sales tax just on the items you buy to expand?
It's just the construction.
Just the construction part.
So, once you're up and running, anything you're buying that replaces, something breaks, you replace it. It doesn't. It also doesn't cover sales out of that facility. So, the sales that they have to collect on sales to sales tax they have to collect on sales to their customers.
But if you had a broken motor, you wouldn't have to go buy a broken motor. Make motors.
Right.
I have a question. Didn't we fix Shawn's Road a couple of years ago?
That is a good question. I'm not sure.
Are
But
you talking about highway out by the Cena? That one or Ruby Carson?
Ruby Carson.
I think I did some work out there.
I think we did. Okay. Thank you.
thank you.
And we've worked with Ms. About with on the abatement agreement already. Ms. Juan as well.
So Sean has drafted that. and we-
Yeah, we looked at that before. It's in line.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
I move the item.
All in favor, say aye. All opposed? All right. Next matter is IT. Together with the city of Vestavia and the county for GIS cost sharing agreement.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. All opposed?
Yeah, and for those GIS cost sharing agreements, we had a request at all.
Yes.
We okay on that one?
Yes.
Okay.
We're working on that.
All right, there's a couple items too on economic development that we need to consider. We had a BBA funding and Innovation Depot funding. I can bring them up today, or we can put them over here.
For when? Now, what did you just say?
We got a couple of items for economic development funding. One is for the BBA, and the other is for Innovation Depot. And I would like to bring forward, we can do it today, but it's, let me give a mic, let him bring it to his committee next time.
Okay.
Thursday.
Or Thursday. Yeah, I'll be in, we can do it Thursday, that's fine.
Is that okay?
Sure. I just think we need to go ahead and address those, because they're outside this contingency.
You want to address that as economic development funds or the contingency?
Economic development.
All right. Okay.
I'll talk to him after the meeting.
Do anything?
Nothing further.
Anything from county manager's office?
Commissioners, we need to do a pen and ink on page 2 under the behavioral health. I think the fiscal year should be FY24.
FY24.
Yeah. Should pen and ink that.
What we got, what is it now?
On page 2, top of the page, it has October 1, 2022. I think that should read October 1, 2023 through September 30th, 2024.
The contract is correct. She said the contract, the backup is correct.
She said the backup is correct, but the agenda is incorrect.
Just anything on the agenda, that's fine.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. County Attorney?
Nothing today.
Nothing today.
I want to thank David Dennard and Angela, and working tremendously hard, extra hard on the sewer refinance. It's been a lot of work behind the scenes, and I appreciate their hard work.
All right, Commissioner Wright?
I'm good.
Commissioner Bowe?
Good also.
Johnson?
I'll talk to him after the meeting.
I think that we accomplished a great deal today. I appreciate everyone, and this meeting is adjourned.